And now here again is our guest, the Reverend Gail Ricciuti. Gail, your powerful message about how Jesus' mind was changed by the Canaanite woman is a lesson in inclusiveness, isn't it?
It is. And it struck me so powerfully that he was willing to change his mind. He could see that invitation to embrace the outsider. And I think it's a powerful message for us.
I'm reminded of the German Christian martyr Dietrich Bonhoeffer, whose resistance movement, against Adolf Hitler, he learned to see the great events of the world from below, from the perspective of the reviled and the powerless, the poor, the suspect, in short, from those who suffer. This is what you're talking about.
Yes, and a lot of Latin American liberation theologians have taught us that also, to do theology from the underside of society, to start with the poor and look through their eyes. And I think it's good advice to follow as we try to tackle the problems of our own day.
You say being faithful means that the table manners must change, but that's a transforming process as part of that. Doesn't it also make us realize how bad our table manners have been?
Oh, I think it does. I think we've often tried to do theology and talk about God from the perspective of the powerful. We have privilege, and many of us are the affluent of our world, and that leaves out so much. It's so limiting.
How does this inform us, Gail, about what we see going on in the world around us today?
Well, there is so much chaos and strife going on in our world, so much threat, really, day by day, and I think we need to pause and listen to the voices that are crying out. We often only look through one set of eyes, our own perspective, and if we could take into account perspectives of people very different from ourselves and open listening ears, it might be a different world.
This is all about justice, biblical justice, the reduction of human suffering.
Absolutely.
Your husband Anthony just defended his dissertation on that subject, justice, Jubilee justice, is that right?
Yes, the economics of the way. He's convinced that the early church had a certain approach economically to life, sharing things in common, that the book of Acts is actually a true story and not just metaphor.
You are a co-pastor with your husband for many years.
Yes.
That's a unique relationship, but you also have been in ministry, in a local church ministry for over 25 years, now professor of homiletics at Colgate Rochester. How has your mind changed along the way?
Oh, so many ways. We probably don't have enough time to talk about that. I think my mind over the years of my ministry opened up from having folks with other voices insist that I listen and hear their experience in life. And I became convinced from watching folks that we would often look at as outcast or somehow not worthy of being part of the community, from watching their lives be lives of justice.
Who were some of those folks?
In particularly, I think about gay and lesbian brothers and sisters whom years and years ago the church pushed away and said, no, you're not fit somehow, you're not part of us. And yet I witness in their lives so often the kind of justice, mercy, the fruits of the Spirit that convince me if those fruits are present, then I have to listen because God's Spirit is present also.
And so the church is open and affirming community. You also were at Princeton Seminary for about 36 hours when you became a feminist.
Yes. It didn't take long. I was so startled as a young woman, a much younger woman, when I arrived, thinking that it was the most natural thing in the world for me to go into ministry. I knew God had called me. And then I met folks, often male students, fellow students, who felt that the few women were there to find husbands and nothing else. And so I have to credit that experience, my first days at seminary, with making me a feminist and giving me different eyes again.
And now, in this last year, the Senior Choice Award to you for the most outstanding professor at Colgate Rochester Divinity School. Congratulations, Gail.
Thank you.